Welcome. This is the Elite Review Podcast coming at you here today. Coming at you with a Star Wars rank, and we're going to do all the movies here, rank them from worst to best. We have reviewed each individual movie, so make sure you check out all those individual reviews. We got all the originals, the prequels, the sequels, just the Disney projects. Make sure you check that out. We got a whole playlist full of them. And make sure you like and subscribe. And let's go ahead and dive right in. So we'll start with, we got 11 movies here. And we'll start with you. Let's note what's your 11th place movie.
11th place, I have Empire Strike. No, I'm just kidding. I have Attack of the Clones in last place for obvious reasons.
Very obvious.
We all know that this movie's bad. It's bad acting, bad writing. The world building is pretty cool. I like the planets and stuff, but besides that, and the music, everything is bad.
Yeah.
Even that final battle is awful. What about you?
Yeah, in 11th place I have Attack of the Clones as well.
Yeah.
This movie should easily be in last place. I don't know. Prequel lovers out there probably put this like number 2 or 3 or something stupid like that. And it's ridiculous. This movie sucks. I don't care who you are. This movie is trash, and I do not respect your opinion if you think this is a really good movie. Like, I will never trust your movie opinion if you think this is a good movie.
This is easily one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like the worst Star Wars movie to someone else, but it has to be one of the worst, like at least one of the worst movies. It's just terrible. The acting's bad, the dialogue's terrible, Anakin sucks in it. The only good thing is kind of Obi-Wan, but he doesn't do anything that cool.
Padme and Anakin's relationship is just so cringe.
Yeah, the movie's way too long, way too slow. The final battle is honestly, not that great. It's just...
I almost fell asleep during this movie. I was so close.
A really, really bad movie. So, let's move on to the next place. You're at number 10. What's your 10th spot?
Number 10, I have Phantom Menace. Oh, yeah. This one is really bad too. It's so cartoonish. It feels like I'm watching a kid's cartoon like the whole time almost. Yeah. The CGI is just so bad. The writing of the characters is really bad, except Qui-Gon Jinn is he's pretty cool. Yeah. Of course, the final battle is, honestly, it's a really cool battle. Yeah. But that does not save the plot of the movie or the characters.
Not at all.
Especially little Anakin. I don't like little Anakin.
Me either.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I have that in 10th place as well. Phantom Menace. I agree. I think it's a terrible movie. It's saved by, well, it's not saved, but it has a few good things, like the final battle with Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon's pretty cool. It's not as bad as Attack of the Clones. I think I'd still much rather watch this than Attack of the Clones.
This one's more enjoyable, even though it's still kind of boring.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't get the hype of the pod racing scene though.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Everyone loves it, but
little Anakin's just stupid, and he just has nothing very much to offer. I don't know why they made him little. I don't think
he's
we ever
so little, and
Anakin.
he made a freaking pod racer.
It's pretty bad, so I don't like this movie very much. It's an okay entry, but it's definitely still one of the worst Star Wars movies. So let's go and move to 9th place. What is your 9th place movie?
I feel like this one should go a little bit higher, but it's not. I put Rogue One in 9th place. Because the character building is it's really boring and bland. The last 40 minutes is the only thing that really saves this movie for me. It's a great war film at the end, and the Darth Vader scene, of course, is just super epic, and we all know that.
Yep.
Something that really bugs me is Tarkin, you know him? Yep. I hate how they CGI'd him. It looks like a cartoon every single time I'm watching it, but great visuals and stuff. It's just... Only a quarter of this movie is really good.
Yep.
Everything else is really boring.
Yeah. Well, my 9th place is also Rogue One. Because I don't enjoy it very much. I was expecting myself to enjoy it quite a bit when I watched it again, because I haven't seen it in years. I rewatched it, and I just didn't like it very much. The last 40 minutes is pretty dang good. It's pretty spectacular, but the rest of the movie is just not enjoyable. I enjoy every other thing that's above this movie here on my list. I enjoy way more than I enjoy this movie. I think it's just the characters lack so hard. They're not as bad as Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace, but they're almost there with how boring these characters are. The main girl's not great.
Jen Erso is so boring.
Yeah, and everyone wants to give it so much hype because of the last 40 minutes, and yeah, it's great, but like still, it doesn't save the movie to have the last 40 minutes.
This could have just been a short film.
It's a good battle, and of course Darth Vader showing up. Yeah, of course that's cool. It doesn't mean that it's an amazing movie though because of this. So I don't like Rogue One very much. I think that's pretty unpopular. A lot of people really love Rogue One, but I just do not. I don't get it. I think the rest of it's pretty lame. Characters are pretty lame, and the characters really need to be good. So I don't like this one much.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our number 8. What's the number 8 pick for you?
Sadly, Rise of Skywalker comes here at number 8. It falls so far behind some of these other films, and the plot-wise, it's just awful.
Yeah.
Like, it's got one of the worst plots I've heard in Star Wars. Unless it was split up into like 3 movies, but they didn't do that. It's all rushed into one movie. It feels like you're on an insane roller coaster.
Yeah.
But just too insane. I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's pretty bad. But it's not awful. It's still fun. I still have a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, same here. Number 8 for me is Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. It's still just a fun mess. It's totally messy. Story is so messy, but it's a movie that I can still watch and enjoy quite a bit.
I appreciate it.
There's a lot of scenes I like in it, but I can't defend it very well.
Han Solo coming back is like the best thing in it.
Yeah, it definitely has its moments that are pretty good, but like overall, it's still a pretty bad plot. I don't think it's quite as terrible as some people say. Like, I don't think it like ruined Star Wars or it's like an atrocious part of Star Wars, but like it's not very good. It wasn't a good way to end the saga, not a good way to end the sequel trilogy. It just didn't work out very well, mostly because of real life consequences that I don't think ended up coming up with a satisfying conclusion.
I definitely would still rather rewatch this than some of these other movies.
Yeah, me too. I just think every movie above this is better and does things better. So let's get to our 7th place here. What is your 7th pick?
7th place, I put Revenge of the Sith. It's the best of the prequels, of course, but it still does lots of things wrong. Like, Anakin's turn to the dark side is so rushed.
Oh yeah.
That's what the whole through movie should have been about, not just this one.
Exactly.
So that's personally my biggest problem with it.
Yeah.
Everything else, the acting's not very good. Everything's very stale. I like Obi-Wan a lot. This movie's definitely funner than the last 2, but when you think about it, the villains don't really need to be there. Like, General Grievous is so pointless. Yoda going into exile is really dumb.
Yeah.
But I do think the final battle is really cool.
Oh yeah.
And I think this has story elements that are better than all the other ones I named.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So my 7th pick is going to be Solo. And I really like Solo. I liked it a lot more than I actually thought I was going to. So I feel like from Solo on to the rest of my list here, I enjoy these movies pretty well. Solo is really not a bad movie. It obviously can't do anything that's amazing because it's just a Solo movie. So I almost feel like it should have been a Disney Plus show or something. Because it kind of works more in that sort of just fun, it's just a little fun story. So it can't be quite as good as like these big Star Wars epic movies, like the ones that are above this, but it does the job pretty well. I don't think it's amazing, but and like there's a few problems I have with just like how it looks and how dark it is, and
the lighting, the tone is really bad.
Yeah, and it doesn't have an amazing story, but you know, it's just a fun little adventure. I would have liked it just to be a little show or something, but not a bad movie, not a bad entry, but not one of my favorites. But let's get to number 6. What's your 6th place?
Number 6, I put Solo. So I think definitely if Disney Plus was a thing back then, then they would have made this a show.
Yeah.
But since that didn't happen, I think it works fine. I think it's a really fun movie. All the characters are honestly like great.
Yeah.
I love Lando. I love Han. I think that they all do great jobs. Of course, the plot's not very great, but it does have a fun villain, and like I just think it's a super fun movie. Yeah, we didn't need Darth Maul in it, but
no.
that was bad. It has some like lighting issues and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think this is just a really fun movie, and I'd rather rewatch this than any of the other ones I put below this.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind rewatching it. Well, my 6th place is going to be Revenge of the Sith. And it's Yeah, it's rough because I think it's a better movie than Solo, but like I'd probably rather rewatch Solo than Revenge of the Sith. But I gotta give Revenge of the Sith credit where it's due, I guess, because it does have some really cool things. I like the beginning space battle; it's pretty cool.
It's good.
It's really epic how epic that is. And then I think obviously Anakin and Obi-Wan are at their best in this movie out of the prequels. Like it's the best of the prequels by quite a landslide. And then the final battle, super cool. On that Mustafar and just how choreographed and how well that is. Really cool stuff. Music's also really, really good in this one. But
that's great.
But yeah, there's some really dumb things, and I don't think it's like the best Star Wars movie or even one of the best. It does some things right, but then the plot's really dumb. I think Anakin turned to the dark side's like crazy stupid.
It's very underwhelming.
Really underwhelming. Not done right. I think really the star of this one's Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan is great in this movie. Ewan McGregor does a fantastic job in this movie. It's his best job.
I don't think anyone will argue when we say that he's the best character in this.
And the General Grievous is like fun, but he's just there to be kind of a distraction.
And his fight goes on way too long.
Way too long. And then, Yoda versus Palpatine's kind of underwhelming because they kind of just push each other off and then it's over. I think it's pretty lame.
Because in exile.
Then, we obviously just have to get everything up to A New Hope, so everything's just kind of pushed in there just so we can get it right to A New Hope, and it just wasn't done very well, I don't think. Had this been a story that was built better through the prequels, I think, like we saw Anakin's turn way more throughout the prequels, this would have been probably a more epic conclusion to the prequels, but it didn't quite do that. I don't care about people that say like the Clone Wars makes it better and stuff. Like I don't care. Like this movie, it's just about the movie.
Before the Clone Wars.
This came out before the Clone Wars. You could say any movie on this list, you could make an animated show about it. It'll make it better. Like we're talking about the movies. The Clone Wars, sure, it's a pretty good show. It's helping out, but the fact that the movie needs help from the Clone Wars doesn't mean it's better. Like it's just like, come on, it's a good movie, but like it's not one of the best Star Wars movies ever.
Not at all.
I don't agree with that. Well, now we're in the top 5. Let's go to the top 5. What's your number 5th pick?
Number 5, I put The Last Jedi because I actually really like this movie.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely like the tone is a lot different from the other two for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
we got a new writer and director and stuff, but I think it's really good. I think Luke is great in this movie. I don't care what anyone says. I think he's a good character in this.
He is.
His death scene is probably one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's just so beautiful.
For sure.
And the way he goes out too is just so epic and like. I think that's the true way a Jedi should go out. I think one of my biggest problem with this movie is probably Finn's arc and Rose's.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to always have a love interest for Finn every single movie to help his character grow. I think it should have just been him and Poe.
Yep.
They would have been great together. Finn is really wasted in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Kylo Ren's great as always. I love Kylo Ren in every movie. He's the best character in these, I think.
Oh yeah.
Snoke dying was an interesting choice. I think it's a cool choice for pushing Kylo to the top, showing him as the main threat, but then they bring in the Emperor like right after, so it's like should have just kept Snoke or kept Kylo Ren.
Exactly.
I think that's all I have to say about this one.
Nice. My 5th place is also The Last Jedi, and I think that is pretty much the perfect spot for this movie for how I feel about it, because it's not the best. It's not like it changed Star Wars to be this amazing thing, but like it's not the worst either. Like I don't get how you could say this is like the worst Star Wars movie and stuff. I can get people's problems with it. Like I see you, but I definitely don't feel the same way as those people. Like I think it's a really well-made movie. Like it's visually super pleasing. It explores really cool things. It explores really cool ideas too. I love seeing Luke that way, where he's a broken hero. I think that's amazing to see in Star Wars. It's not something we see enough in Star Wars, to be honest. And I think Mark Hamill does some great acting as Luke in this movie. It's fantastic.
He does.
I think Rey and Kylo both are really pushed up very well in this movie. And I mean, they're our main people, so we got to have them pushed up. I love some of the messages in this movie. They're great. And I love that it's just like our heroes are really like on their last step of like just like about to die, honestly. Like this, they're getting so wrecked this movie. The First Order is like honestly pretty much winning this movie, and then you just have that little bit of hope at the end with Luke, and it's amazing. So I think this movie explores some really cool things. Yeah, definitely it's a big issue. Finn and Rose is the casino scene. Like, yeah, there's a lot of problems there. I cannot defend that whatsoever. It's really bad. But then, everything else besides those guys, I think, is pretty solid. I think Poe could have been better too in this movie, but he's not necessarily bugging me too much.
Yeah,
Leia somehow surviving, I think, was dumb. I think she should have died in this movie. I don't think she needed to be saved or anything the way she was. Yeah, so just a few problems there. I can get them, but it's like not the worst. Like, it didn't ruin Star Wars at all. I don't really get how you could feel those feelings. I can see how you could be a little bugged by it, but it's not the worst movie.
It doesn't ruin Star Wars.
No.
Also, I feel like this movie too. I feel like Rise of Skywalker also brings this one down for me.
It does.
Because of all the twists, they're like, nope, we're gonna undo that. Now she's Palpatine's daughter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or not daughter.
A lot of problems. Yeah. It was trying to undo The Last Jedi, so. Rise of Skywalker definitely didn't help with it much.
No.
But it's a good spin. I think it's a good perspective to take on Star Wars that Rian Johnson took. I don't think he deserves a bunch of hate. I think he decided to explore some new things,
and I think it was
he deserves
cool.
a bunch of hate for that. So, let's get to our top 4 here. What's your fourth place pick?
In fourth place, I put The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. This is my favorite prequel, and I think it's...
You mean sequel?
Yeah, sequel. It's great. First of all, just want to say I love the Kylo Ren theme song, and it's probably one of my favorite songs in all of Star Wars. It's so epic.
Yeah, it is.
Kylo Ren is just so awesome in this movie. Every character is really good. Finn has a really compelling arc, which they should have taken further in the later movies.
Exactly.
But he's definitely at his best in this movie, and I think I could almost say the same for most of the characters.
Yeah.
I love seeing Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Yeah.
This movie is it's so much fun, even though it's very simple and it's not very daring.
No.
I definitely think it's a great way to reopen the universe.
Yeah.
And it's lots of fun. I don't have too many problems with this one, so.
Yeah. Cool.
You?
My fourth spot's also The Force Awakens. I agree, it's the best of the sequels pretty easily. I think JJ was a good pick to come in and revive the universe pretty well.
I think so too.
And yeah, the plot doesn't push anything forward, so I can't say it's one of the best per se, but it's it's almost the top of my list. It's really fun. I'll never not enjoy this movie. I could probably rewatch it 1 billion times and not really get sick of it. I've seen it a lot of times and I'm never sick of it. Love Han Solo showing back up. Love Chewbacca. I love Rey's introduction in this movie. I think she's just shown great in this movie.
Yeah,
she's not like a Mary Sue or whatever. She does a pretty good fight against Kylo, and it's not like she easily just beats him. Like, it's a pretty good fight.
And she's had training with the melee weapon like the whole movie.
Yeah, and he was just shot. Like, come on, Kylo's gonna do a little bad. It's okay. She didn't like kill him or anything. She didn't defeat him.
I'm more
It's just
surprised
like,
that Chewbacca didn't kill Kylo Ren right there with that bow.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool fight. And Finn as well. Finn, super great introduction. I remember even seeing the trailers and I was like, I'm excited to see what this Finn guy's about.
Yeah, right?
And he's really, really, really good in this movie. So good in this movie. I love him picking up the lightsaber, trying to fight Kylo, and he gets super wrecked. But he was really brave to do that. I honestly love seeing Maz Kanata and like that whole little area there, and just kind of re-exploring Star Wars there. And I think it was a really good introduction. I don't really see how you could have many problems with this besides it, just not pushing the universe very far. Right. But I think it left the door open for a potential good trilogy that didn't obviously happen. But it's a fun movie. So much fun.
And I think this is the one that gets the least amount of hate too. The other ones are very controversial.
Everyone can kind of agree this is just a pretty fun movie.
Yeah,
I don't see anybody hating it. So here we go. Let's get to the top 3. Obviously, these are going to all be original movies. They're the best ones, but let's go with you. What's your third pick?
Number 3, I have Return of the Jedi. Not gonna lie, I do have quite a few problems with this one, but I still think it's great. It's better than all the other Star Wars movies.
It is.
That I've mentioned. The final battle is super epic, like the best space battle and one of the best lightsaber fights, I think.
Yeah.
I think Luke is just so sick in this movie. I love his new outfit.
Oh yeah.
I will say that the first 30 minutes of this movie are kind of pointless, and I don't like it very much because I like how wise you can tell Luke is, but I think my biggest problem is just Boba Fett gets killed so easily. Yeah. Or, kind of killed.
He does.
On accident.
Yeah.
That really bugs me every time I see it.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, and the Ewoks shouldn't have been in it so much. I don't think this should have been included in the final battle or whatever.
No.
Harrison Ford, he's not as fun in this one just because
he didn't want to be in it anymore.
He wanted to die in the last movie. Yeah. But I mean, he was still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides those few problems, I thought this movie was really fun. I love the speeder chase too.
Oh yeah.
Speeder chase is awesome. How do you feel?
Yeah, my favorite spot's also gonna be Return of the Jedi. It's obviously the worst of the originals, but still a really solid film. I agree. There's like quite a few problems with this movie, but they're nothing too huge that I can't that it knocks down the movie much for me.
Yeah.
They're all just kind of annoying little things, but it still really works well for a conclusion to this trilogy. I think it's got the best conclusion to any of the trilogies. Is in this one. I just love seeing Luke and Vader mostly. It's a really fantastic relationship.
It is.
And it ends very well. I love that entire last part, just Vader's redemption and then talking to Luke for a bit. It's just fantastic.
It's so good.
Love all the words he says. Those are some of my favorite lines of all of Star Wars. I love Luke's green lightsaber. Love his black look. It's just
He looks so cool on it.
I honestly like Endor as well too. I think it's a cool planet. The Ewoks are like they're meh, but I don't mind them as much as other people. But I think Endor is a pretty fun planet to go to. I agree. The first 30 minutes is kind of just a weird plan. It's just kind of meant to be a little adventure, I guess. But if you don't think about it much, I guess it's pretty fun. But when you actually look into it, it's kind of
like,
dumb.
did you really plan for them to go all the way
plan.
to the Snorlax pit?
But I love to see Jabba's palace too. Is the thing. I love seeing Jabba finally like talking and stuff, you know. And obviously got to give props to that little song they do there. I'm just kidding, but I can't believe they added that in.
It's so stupid.
It's really stupid, but you know, it's still.
I think that was the worst part of the movie.
Yeah, but still a really good movie. I don't know what keeps me from just loving this movie a lot, but something really makes me love this movie a lot. So
I agree.
We'll get into the top two here. What's your second?
Number two, I have A New Hope, and honestly, I could almost say that this is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
I honestly don't have anything wrong with this. The only thing that holds it back is that the other one was just a bit better.
Yeah.
This movie is so much fun. It's such a good introduction. Actually, I have one problem.
What is it?
The stupid Greedo and Han Solo scene.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a problem with the movie. It's
like
it's
George
so
Lucas
dumb.
wanting that day.
They're like, oh no, Greedo's gonna shoot first now.
Yeah.
Han Solo's a good
dumb
guy.
debate.
But the whole cantina scene is great. Luke's introduction is awesome. C-3PO and R2-D2, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
The Jawa stuff is fun. And even the final space battles, there's not a lightsaber battle, but that final space battle is also really fun.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I just think everything is really, really good in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also my number two spot. It's A New Hope. I agree. I just absolutely love this movie. I think every person in this world who watches any movies needs to watch A New Hope at least.
I agree.
It's just a classic, you know. Really good introduction to all the characters. Obviously, Obi-Wan's freaking amazing in this movie. It's weird that he's like old, but we still love Obi-Wan so much in this movie. Yeah, Luke's introduction's good. He's like a little whiny sometimes, and it's a little cringy sometimes. I don't think Mark Hamill exactly knew his acting too well in this one, but he improves it, obviously, and it's not terrible.
It gets a lot better.
Love Princess Leia in this. Love her and Han. It's just so much fun, too. It like feels like all the fun of The Force Awakens, but obviously it's like the first introduction to all this world and everything, so it's so cool. You hear just a little bit about the Force, and you kind of see lightsabers, and I think it leads up to just some really cool stuff with the next movies.
Also, I love them just disguising as stormtroopers. That's one of my favorite scenes.
I love the whole part where they're just trying to escape her out, you know. And then I love when they get their medals at the end. I love the whole battle of just trying to destroy, you know, the Death Star and stuff. And
or where they're getting squished in the junk thing.
Yeah, and C-3PO and R2-D2 also are just fantastic in this. Yeah, I really just like, it's just a classic, fun movie. And I think it'll always hold up as like obviously one of the best Star Wars movies of all time.
One of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy how old it is and how good it works, and it just holds its place so well. It's so timely. So here we go. Number one spot.
Number one. I think this is pretty obvious, but Empire Strikes Back is number one because this is the best Star Wars movie
of all time,
and one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah.
It just does everything right.
Easily.
I don't think I have any problems with it. Han Solo, tons of fun. I love the whole Hoth scene at the beginning, and you see Luke is like starting to know what the Force is, kind of. Yeah. Then all the training with like Yoda and getting introduced to Yoda, and having him lift up the ship is just such an awesome scene.
All the music and everything's so good.
Yeah, and honestly, that final fight might be my favorite lightsaber fight in all Star Wars.
It's really cool.
It's really good. And it's the first fight, too, that you see, really, besides Obi-Wan and Vader.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is probably the best in all of Star Wars. I love it so much. There's just so much stuff in this. I love Lando, all the Cloud City stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's all so good, dude.
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Empire Strikes Back, best movie. It kind of easily takes it. I love A New Hope, but like you watch this one and it's just easily the best Star Wars movie. I think like this movie to me is completely Star Wars. Like everything that I like about any of the movies, like prequels, everything like is put into this movie. I think like where you just have the good heart, like you have all the good messages in it from Yoda, and then you have just like so much about the Force. Like you learn probably most about the Force in this movie and how it works really well. You learn so much of what it's like to be like a Jedi, what that means. You learn so much about like just Darth Vader, and you learn so much about just him and Luke and kind of their relationship. You have like all the fun stuff, just all the fun adventure stuff, like with Cloud City and Lando and Han and Leia, their adventure. The music's at its best here. They have some great introductions to songs on here that are so good, just like Han and Leia's theme and everything's so good. Cloud City's such a cool looking place. Luke just learning to become a Jedi, and that he wants to go help save, Han and Leia and stuff. It's just amazing. Darth Vader's super cool in this movie. That final battle's awesome. It's just like everything's just perfect. It's like a perfect movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's just perfect. Like I just can't complain about it at all.
Boba Fett's even kind of cool in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
It really builds him up to be like this really cool guy.
And Dagobah's cool. Hoth is cool. Just like every single thing. I cannot think of a problem with it. Like besides, it's an older movie, I guess, but like that's the one thing I could ever say.
Honestly, the effects in this look better than some of the effects in the later movies.
They do.
It's all practical too, or most of it.
Yeah, and there's the introduction of the AT-ATs, like all that sort of stuff. Just like, it's just so cool. I think George Lucas, or I don't know, I guess whoever's just involved in this movie just exactly knew how to make a really good sequel. Just a really good movie. So, yeah, this will always hold my favorite spot. I really don't know if Star Wars will ever top Empire Strikes Back. It would be really hard to ever top.
I don't think it ever will, honestly.
Never. So, there we go. Best Star Wars movie. So let's go ahead and just go over your list from worst to best in order, and then I'll go over it, and then...
Okay. At 11, I have Attack of the Clones. 10, Phantom Menace. 9, Rogue One. And 8, I have Rise of Skywalker. 7, Revenge of the Sith. 6, Solo. 5, The Last Jedi. 4, The Force Awakens. 3, Return of the Jedi. 2, A New Hope. And 1, Empire Strikes Back.
Awesome. For me, it's 11, Attack of the Clones. 10, Phantom Menace. 9, Rogue One. 8, Rise of Skywalker. 7, Solo. 6, Revenge of the Sith. 5, The Last Jedi. 4, The Force Awakens. 3, Return of the Jedi. 2, A New Hope. 1, Empire Strikes Back. So, that's a lot to take in. But go ahead
a lot.
and let us know what your lists are. We would love to see your list of your favorite Star Wars movies. Rank them all. Everybody has a very different Star Wars ranking. I don't think anybody out here has exactly the same. So make sure you guys let us know. Comment down below what you think of Star Wars. And this kind of concludes our whole Skywalker saga ranking and everything here. We'll probably be moving on to new projects now. So we'll start getting into Loki when that comes out about next month, and we'll get more into MCU stuff, and we'll be talking about just other shows and movies we've been watching and stuff, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you check out our Falcon and the Winter Soldier episodes and everything that we've ranked when that show was airing, and check out everything there. Make sure you like and subscribe, and you guys have a great week.
See you guys.